Hey y'all, this is Mo.
And I'm Joy.
We are lifelong friends who met in kindergarten and reconnected in Catholic school when we were 12. We are Christian women who enjoy travel, making art, cooking, baking, reading, and gardening. We do our very best to practice holistic health, and we love America. So pull up a chair and grab a hot tea, coffee, or chai latte and enjoy the show.
Today's job market is different from other times in history. Job seekers face a rapidly evolving workforce with changes in technology, generational attitudes, and even interfaces with AI. Our podcast will offer analysis, real-life examples, interviews, and discussions. We will explore solutions for the current workforce that is impacted by layoffs or just wanting to make a change. And we'll do it while having a laugh or two. Welcome to Real Talk for Today's Job Seekers podcast. Hello and welcome to the Real Talk for Today's Job Seekers podcast. I am Joy.
This is Mo.
And we are here today to talk a little bit about the current job market and things that are going on. But first we want to introduce ourselves a little bit. I'm Joy, as I said before. I had 22 years in technology for the bank, but I actually started working at age 13, and it was really important to my housewife mother for me to be very independent. My professional career started when I was about 24. I got a job with the bank working in mortgage processing, just like you, Mo.
Crazy.
And I really enjoyed it until the housing bubble of 2000 or so, and that's when I had my first layoff.
Oh, yeah.
I took some time off, went back to tech, and that's where I spent most of my career. Starting in and staying a little too long at the call center. But then I went on to desktop support, moving in and out of different business lines based on various mergers and business needs.
Yeah.
Then came along the pandemic, and I was an essential worker. Two of my peers left the business for other opportunities. One of my peers went completely off the rails, and one of my peers retired. And I was left there with all this work, all this responsibility for the users, the vendors, and I was just having stress-related health issues, and I just knew in my heart that my relationship with the bank was over. So I retired. And I'm air quoting here since you can't see me. This is a mini retirement that is turning into a refirement, but I'm kind of spinning at this point and not sure if I need to go back to the conventional job market or if I need to go and do something else. And that's a little about me. What about you, Mo?
Well, before we get to me, you just had me do a complete flashback when you threw out that term, essential worker.
Yes.
So that meant that you had to go into the office physically when pretty much everyone else was not there, right?
I did, and that was actually wonderful. Because I went from having like 800 users at my building and constantly being tugged on, constantly being needed, to having the whole place for myself for like 2 years, and it was kind of wonderful in some ways.
Wow. Yeah. I mean,
besides the cleaning fluid and all the stuff that you had to smell all the time, but yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So a little bit off track there, but that took me back for a minute. So, I'm very similar to you. I started work at 15 at Publix. Which is what we did back in the day. And after graduating college, I also started in the mortgage banking industry. I started out in originations and then moved my way into the technology world, but mainly projects, conversions, implementations. And of course, I'm never going to be as techie as you, Joy, but that's why there's good to have a pair or more working together. As for my part, I traveled a lot back in the day in my career, I was working from home way before it was a thing for a variety of different reasons. But I myself have experienced 2 layoffs, and I also experienced working as a contractor once in my career, which is an experience I'm glad for, and I made good friends, but it's definitely interesting. And just like lots of areas in financial services, you and I have both, along with many others out there, we have to deal with and learn to live with layoffs as kind of a part of our professional life.
Most definitely. And then what do you do after the layoff and all the things?
Yes, and I think that answer today is quite different than what it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, which is really why we're here, right?
Yes, the job market is completely different than what it used to be. So yeah, let's talk about that a little further. Why are we doing this? You and I have been having conversations around what's been going on with you and looking for a position and looking for employment within the corporate world. And you've been describing to me things that I didn't expect.
Ditto.
And practices that some of the companies are doing, and we just, the more we talked about it, the more we thought that we needed to bring attention to these issues and start talking about it. So tell me some of the things that have been going on with your job search.
Yeah, I mean, one of the big reasons why we're doing this is just to acknowledge real life, such that it's across multiple industries at this point. We've been facing uncertainty and challenges, I think, across the board. We might be feeling it a little bit more just because in our metropolitan area, we tend to be financially service based, right? So layoffs are actually a part of real life and something that you have to be able to navigate. As a matter of fact, I was doing some digging a week or so back, and I was trying to get a feel for some layoff statistics across the board. And I'm going to share a couple of those right now, super high level. We'll get into more details down the road. I really like the way that demandsage.com packaged up a wide variety of their statistics. So I'm just going to share 3 for right now. We can delve more into future episodes, the details. So 61% of adults aged 18 to 34 have layoff anxiety, compared to 41% above the age of 35, and then down to 30% who are 55 and up. I think this speaks absolutely to the time and experience when it comes to dealing with the anxiety of facing job separation. I also think, Joy, I'm sure you would agree that it also matters how common it is in your industry, right? Let's see here. 45% of men reported being laid off compared to 36% of women. The key thing that I noticed with this one is the term men reported. So I was a little bit curious, is this voluntary information or are these actually aggregated real stats? I'm not clear on that part. The last one I wanted to share is that 12% of men and 4% of women have been laid off more than 2 times. I haven't quite fit that category. I am the 2 times. I would prefer not to be more than 2 times. We shall see. Let's see here. I would like to say that Demand Sage cited credits to some other companies for these statistics. I'd like to throw that out there here as well. Zippia, Crunchbase News, CNBC, and Statista. So, give me credit where credit's due.
Yes, that's good of you to do that.
All those years back in the day being forced to cite the sources.
Right.
I think I'm still scarred just a little.
You did it. So, LinkedIn and social media posts, prospective employee, internal HR professionals, external recruiters. That's going to be another reason that we're doing this, because you've learned a lot just being on LinkedIn and
Absolutely.
seeing the amount of vitriol that has been going back and forth between all that. And then also learning how to cultivate your general personal networks.
Right.
Yeah.
And just being able to share the experiences. It can be very easy to feel like you're kind of in the battle on your own, but if you're staying in touch with your network and also adding to the network, you begin to realize very quickly that many people are out there having the same struggles that I am or you are in this job search market, and it's good to never really feel completely isolated. That can be very defeating.
Right. And as we get together and we're able to express our emotions, right?
Exactly.
So that's another reason why we're doing it, is to allow a venue for you guys to express your shock, for example, or fear, your anger, your shame, your embarrassment, rejection, happiness, relief, any of those things. And I know from talking to you, Mo, that you felt all of those things here recently in one way or another.
Yeah, definitely. The emotions can be very challenging depending on, again, how easily you're able to navigate a separation that you didn't choose for yourself. I think that really plays a big part. If you're expecting it, it's much easier to deal with the ultimate outcome. Then there's the people that I always used to envy, especially early on in my career when I would have to face layoffs, and it would be so hard for me to lose a lot of my teammates. But there are some who, given their current state and time in their life, they welcome
Right.
the layoff or the separation because they are at a place where it is not detrimental to them. So I think it's important to note not all of the feelings are negative. There are a select group who find joy, peace, relief, and a neat ending to the end of their career, right?
Yes. A timely ending.
Yes.
So I think we're going to wrap up here.
Yeah.
Just real briefly, let's talk about the next episode, episode 2. We're going to be talking about layoffs, again, specifically severance packages, unemployment. We're going to go deeper into some of our stories and let you learn more about us. You're welcome. But for now, we would love for you to join us on our Facebook page or on our Instagram. Also, if you've got any ideas for topics that you'd like discussed or guests you'd like to hear, just email us at realtalkfortodaysjobseeker@gmail.com. Again, that's realtalkfortodaysjobseeker@gmail.com. I realized I was just talking really fast there, and they may not have even heard what I said because I was speaking like Speedy Gonzales.
But they got it the second time.
Bet you did. And we thank you very much for listening, and we'll look forward to connecting with you on the next podcast. Thanks, guys.
See you next time.
We want to thank you for listening to the Real Talk for Today's Job Seeker podcast with Mo and Joy. If you want to advertise and connect with our many listeners around the country, please reach out to us at realtalkfortodaysjobseeker@gmail.com. If you have any show topic, join us on our Facebook page to give us any recommendations and also to find out about upcoming shows. Thanks again for listening.